Welcome back to the Ancestral Findings Podcast. The 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution sets term limits for the U.S. President, as well as some other qualifications for being elected to that office. This issue has been discussed as far back as the 1780s during the Constitutional Convention, and many founding fathers expressed concerns about not limiting presidential terms. This is why term limits for U.S. presidents were finally instituted by adopting the 22nd Amendment. The 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution provides a limit to the number of times someone is eligible to be elected as President of the United States. Prior to the adoption of this amendment, there was no limit to the number of times a person could be elected as U.S. President. The amendment was approved by Congress in March of 1947 and ratified by the requisite number of states on February 27, 1951, when it became law in this country. What does it say? Section 1. No person shall be elected to the office of the President more than twice, and no person who has held the office of President or acted as President for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected President shall be elected to the office of the President more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of President when this article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of President or acting as President during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of President or acting as President during the remainder of such term. Section 2. This article shall be inoperative unless it shall have been ratified as an amendment to the Constitution by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states within 7 years from the date of its submission to the states by the Congress. What does it mean? This amendment was put forth after Franklin D. Roosevelt had been elected to the office of President of the United States, an unprecedented 4 times. George Washington had set a precedent of not running for president more than twice, and after this, a 2-term limit became a traditional limit that all future U.S. presidents followed until Roosevelt. After Roosevelt, who crossed to the other side at the beginning of his 4th presidential term, Congress became concerned that unlimited presidential terms might lead to a dictatorship or monarchy. The amendment limits the number of times a person can be elected U.S. president to twice. If someone is appointed to fill an unexpired presidential term, and that term is for more than 2 years, they are prohibited from running for president on their own more than once. Term limits for U.S. president were discussed at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. People such as Alexander Hamilton and James Madison supported the appointment of a U.S. president for life, much like is done with U.S. Supreme Court appointees. Others supported term limits, believing allowing someone to be president for life to be too similar to a monarchy, which the U.S. had just shed itself of in the Revolutionary War. One of the Constitution's early drafts gave a U.S. president 1 7-year term. Finally, the Founding Fathers decided on 4-year terms, with no limit to the number of times one could be elected to the office. Even Thomas Jefferson wrote about the issue during his own presidency. About halfway through his 2nd term as U.S. President, Jefferson wrote, "If some termination to the services of the Chief Magistrate be not fixed by the Constitution, or supplied by practice, his office, nominally for years, will in fact become for life, and history shows how easily that degenerates into an inheritance." Almost 2 centuries after the Founding Fathers first considered the issue, those term limits for being elected as U.S. President were finally and officially put into place. Thanks for listening to the Ancestral Findings Podcast. Visit ancestralfindings.com and download a free ebook, and sign up for the historical postcard giveaway. I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy searching.